Asymmetric information is a condition where one party has an access for more or better information as compared to the another party. Now this is unequal distribution of information, I would say here, which causes a power imbalance in a business relationship and may result in information rich parties taking advantage of the information poor parties, which leads to a downward spiral in the business and potential market failures. Example of asymmetrical information, as I have given you an introduction of it, would include with respect to moral hazards and information monopoly as well as adverse selection. Now let's see in details about adverse selection. This basically implies taking advantage of asymmetric information before transaction. For example, suppose there is an individual residing in your locality, let's say Mr. Ramesh. Now Mr. Ramesh smokes and do not exercise. He went to buy insurance policy and he was aware that he is truthfully confessing about his smoking habits, then the insurance company would charge a higher amount of premium. Why? We all know this, isn't it? Because whatever the premium is charged is based on various factors. One of the important factors is your health benefits or health condition in this regard. So since Mr. Ramesh is a smoker and he do not exercises, that means he requires a premium of a higher premium. Why? Because the chances of getting ill or any other circumstances may rise. So he lies during the filing of health questionnaire to the insurance company, and this situation leads to adverse selection and the insurance company is at disadvantage since he is not disclosing the information which is required, and hence this information is very essential for determining the premium amount for Mr. Ramesh, which he has not done. Hence, it would be a disadvantages for the insurance company. In adverse selection, buyers and sellers have access to different information and this may cause a market failure. For example, if a manufacturer is not getting consumer feedback, he or she will keep on producing an item for which there may be no longer be demanded. Another example is an interviewee hiding details that may affect his prospects, while interviewer may withhold information about the company, resulting in the scenario where at least one party stands to lose. Another example is a second-hand car market. The seller may know about an invisible defect and charge too much to the consumer who is badly informed. This may lead to a situation wherein the second-hand car market, people most willing to sell are those with bad cars with you, and in this case, if you have a good car, you don't want to sell because the average market price is depressed by the number of bad cars on the market. Let us try to explain more with an example of insurance in a more deeper way so that you get to know about adverse selection in a much more better way. A company selling a life insurance will find that people at higher risk of death will be much more willing to buy a life insurance product. If the insurance company charges an average price, but only high-risk consumers buy, they will make a loss. If a company selling life insurance sells at a high price to take account of the high-risk people, then young, healthy people will not buy because the cost is greater than their perceived value. And similarly, a company insuring cars will find those living in high crime areas will be more likely to want to get their car insurance done. Again, if the average cost is charged, this may lead to insurance firm losing out. What could be the consequence of the adverse selection? Due to poor information and difficulty selection or difficulty in selecting customers, there will be a higher overall price as firm has to take into account relatively higher payouts to high-risk consumers or customer taking out insurance. Low-risk consumers may not want to buy it because these are too expensive for their needs, leading to missing market. Firms may invest considerable time in identifying which group of consumers are with a higher risk. The second one is moral hazard. Moral hazard is a term originally used in insurance industry to explain why when insured, individual might act more recklessly than when it is not insured. In the shipping industry, purchasing insurance means that the risk associated with owning and operating the vessel are transferred to the insurer. The calculation of the price or premium factors in the likely cost associated with any damage and plus a profit margin. Damage to the ship or total loss of the ship and its cargo will result in a claim against the insurance policy and the payouts. However, it is possible that over time the insurance payout value becomes greater than the value of the asset. The ship and any cargo in these cases would come into consideration. This means that there is less incentive to maintain the ship to the necessary standard and less incentive to act carefully when operating the ship. If the risk had not been transferred to the insurance company in the first place, the ship and its asset would have been better maintained and operated. Let's discuss some of the examples of moral hazard. In addition to moral hazard in shipping, there are numerous cases where moral hazards may be present, including monitoring as one of the example. For example, in monitoring, being insured to drive a car might driver less cautious when driving, given that they know that in the event of accident, the insurance company will pay for the damage, and hence the driver may tend to drive little carelessly than of not having an image with the insurance. If he is not having an insurance policy, he would be far more better and he would be careful. Healthcare can be another example. The provision of healthcare free at the point of need may affect the decisions by individuals regarding their own health. Knowing that treatments are available for alcoholism, some individual might encourage to drink excessively and beyond the level that might do if no treatments were available through state healthcare provision. Another reason for a market failure is imperfect competition. Now, what is an imperfect competition? Well, imperfect competition refers to a situation where the characterized or it is being characterized of an economic market that do not fulfill all the necessary condition of a perfectly competitive market. Imperfect competition causes market inefficiency resulting in market failure. In other words, perfect information occurs when economic agents are perfectly informed when making their decisions. For example, consumers are aware of the information about the product which is there in the market, their quality, prices and utility they will get from consuming the goods. and any other information relevant to their decision making. We assume that perfect information exists in perfectly competitive market. Most market structures other than perfectly competitive one have imperfect information. Imperfect information causes when economic agent lacks information about a good or any other information relevant to the transaction. In this case, for example, the consumer may should have a partial information or have a partial information about the product quality, which would make it difficult to make a rational choice upon their purchase. The seller may not know the exact utility function of the buyer and may charge too high a price. Let's review an example to understand what happens when we have a imperfect information. Let's assume Tina goes to buy a diamond. She has a perfect knowledge about diamonds. She knows how to test the originality, their price per carat, size, color, cuts, etc. In this case, the seller won't be able to sell her a diamond at a supernormal profit because Tina wouldn't purchase it. Tina will be able to rationally choose the right diamonds at the right price. On the other hand, Sarah, who doesn't know much about diamonds, will go to a diamond merchant with imperfect information. She will be unaware of the price and quality characteristics of a diamonds. In this case, what would happen? Definitely, she will trust the seller and the buyer and would buy the diamond at a significantly higher price than the market price. Therefore, she will make an irrational choice due to imperfect information. The importance of information for decision making is very vital. Correct and proper information plays a vital role in decision making in any market structure, labor market, and even in the capital market, I would say. The consumer needs the correct information to maximize the utility from consuming a product. At times, a consumer may not have a perfect information about merit goods and may not consume an optimum quantity. Now, this type of market failure is under consumption of merit goods. For example, an individual unaware of the benefits of vitamins may not be willing to buy them. If a consumer or a seller does not have enough information, they make a decision based on incomplete information and arrive at an inefficient outcome, which may lead to a market failure. In other times, the consumer may be unaware of ill effects of demerit goods, which may result in overconsumption. This type of market failure is called as overconsumption of demerit goods. For example, before people were aware of the health damage caused by cigarette smoking was widely prevalent. We can thus conclude that if a consumer or a seller doesn't have enough information, they make a decision based on incomplete information and arrive at an inefficient market outcome, which may lead to a market failure closely. For example, until 2019, Coca-Cola, the highest consumed soft drink in USA, did not mention its sugar content publicly because the consumer were unaware of the high sugar content and the possible risk associated with the product. They consumed it disappropriately. This overconsumption has made the public overweight, which puts a significant strain on the healthcare system. Thus, this is also one of the important aspects of it. Now, in the coming slides, we will be talking about price control and regulation and why it is important. Thank you.